Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Force here, and today we'll be checking out Marvel Heroes. This is the free-to-play hack-and-slash action RPG where players fight across the Marvel Universe in an attempt to stop Dr. Doom's evil plans. Now here in this video I'll be showing you guys a bit of gameplay as well as giving you my initial thoughts and impressions on the game. And I've already released a video on this game. I released a video on my beta impressions when I played during the beta events, and then I also released a video that was sort of a joke video talking about why I think Marvel Heroes is bad. It was a complete joke. It was a 40-second video, but there was also a sort of a ring of truth to it. Before I go into my opinion about the game though, I think it's important that I just show you what this game's about so that you can decide if it's something you like, because even if I don't like it, you might think it's great. So let's just cover the basics here. Once again, hack-and-slash action RPG. This game was actually developed by Gazillion Entertainment along with David Brevik, who's worked on a few games you may have heard of before, including Diablo 1 and Diablo 2. Clearly has a history with making some pretty decent hack-and-slash action RPGs, some of the best, people may say. So how does this hold up to that? Well, we'll get to that opinion portion a little later, but in terms of the basic gameplay, this functions like you expect a Diablo-esque game to function. You click on the ground to move your character around. We've got this sort of isometric view here, looking from the top down at an angle. And then besides clicking on the ground to move in a direction, we can hold down the left mouse button to move around as well. Special abilities, special powers, these are all, based on the hero that you're playing. There aren't classes, but there are the heroes, and they've got sort of the abilities that I guess you would expect them to. For example, I am playing as the hero Storm. She is goddess of weather or something along those lines, and she calls down lightning and throws gusts of winds and has this little storm that she can throw forward and knock herself back, all sorts of fun stuff like that. In fact, why don't I just go over the abilities that I currently have. Currently sitting on this lightning bolt here. This is my basic attack. Doesn't use up a resource, but does a fair amount of damage in a small area there. Got this little rush here, which allows me to move quickly from point A to B. Then I've got the elusive blast, which I can do damage in a line in front of me and then also push myself back, getting myself out of harm's way. If I get people around me, I've got the gusting tempest here with D, which does damage all around me. And then finally, my right mouse button attack is this really cool gust of wind here that knocks enemies back and also does damage. Really like that. I think it's pretty awesome, to be honest with you. Okay, so those are the basic abilities that I currently have. Now, this is a fairly low-level character. I've only played the release version of this game. Keep in mind, I played the beta for a little bit of time as well. But the release version of the game, I've only played for a few hours. My character right here is currently level 8, I believe I'm sitting at. Let's bring up the character panel here. There, yes, we are currently level 8. I think that's out of 30 total levels, so still very early on, still nothing more than early or initial impressions, if you will. And actually, we've got a quest over here, so we're just going to head in that direction. So yeah, the combat in this game, we're going to start off talking about that. The combat in this game feels fine. It's it's pretty standard. It's passable. I've made the complaint before that I feel like it's not very impactful, and the technical thing to that is it doesn't feel like my abilities have a lot of weight behind them, and I sort of chalk that up to sort of how characters respond. Now, there is a character response. I wouldn't say the combat is as bad as the Van Helsing hack-and-slash action RPG that I recently played. Van Helsing did a lot of really cool things, but one of the most terrible things about that game was just the combat wasn't that great. The combat is certainly better in this game when it comes to the simple active engaging enemies. It's not that terrible. Unfortunately, there's a bunch of stuff around that that I'm really not too privy on. I'm not really too happy about, to be honest with you. Okay, so here we are in the O36 lab, wonderful, and our goal is to destroy the Q36 prototype and confiscate the Q36 plans. Maybe we'll do that before we finish up this video. So again, combat's fine. What do I've got a problem with then? What is it about this game that I don't really like, and why have I sort of been so negative about it? And I know there's a lot of people, and let me just come right out and say this as well. I know there's a lot of people who are huge fans of the Marvel Universe, and there's lots of people who just, would really like to play a Marvel game. I say for those people, certainly give this game a shot. I think that the combat is good enough so that I could recommend it in that sense. There's just a lot of the stuff around it that is really bothersome. And we're going to, of course, acknowledge the fact that this is a free-to-play game, so you can technically get into it, spend no money, and enjoy your experience. But what about the charging? What about the fees in the store and all that stuff? Let's go ahead and take a look at that really quick. First, let me dispatch of these. So the first thing I'll say is I'm playing as Storm. She is one of the 5 available heroes that you start the game off with for free. Beyond Storm, there's also Daredevil, Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, and The Thing. Safe to say that even though I'm not a huge Marvel guy, those are some of the least popular heroes. I guess that makes sense, right? Because they're giving them away for free. Although Storm seems pretty cool, that's why I picked her. I thought like, oh, ranged, magic, casting, lightning, and stuff like that. But let's take a look at some of the heroes that you can purchase. So it works like this. I am going to go ahead and open the store here. So the way Gazillion makes money, it's a free-to-play game. They need to make money, of course. That's how it works, and I certainly understand that. The way they make money primarily is by selling heroes, and essentially what this works out is you spend what is known as G. This is the currency that's transitioning real money to in-game currency to spend on characters, costumes, items, and then special items as well. So the transition is basically 100 G is $1. So if you look at these heroes that are available for purchase, you're going to notice some of the less popular heroes, the Black Panther, the Black Widow, Daredevil, they cost, you know, $6, $9. But the more popular heroes, you're going to have to spend $20 to get them. Deadpool is going to cost you $20. Iron Man is going to cost you $20. Is there anyone else? Spider-Man will cost you $20. Wolverine's only $12. So if you want to get those heroes, if you want to get any of these heroes that are the more popular characters, especially Iron Man nowadays with all the movies coming out and being so popular, lots of people are probably going to want to try Iron Man. You're going to have to spend $20 to do it. Now there is a chance for the Iron Man character to drop in-game, essentially through quest or just through fighting in the world, fighting enemies, bosses. You get a chance to have characters drop. Now, in the 4 hours that I've played the release version of this game, I've had one character drop, and it was one of the free characters. I actually had The Thing drop. So even though he wasn't the one I initially picked, I could technically play as him. I've also made a purchase. I purchased the Punisher. Now, this is one of the major problems that I have with this game. Is that when you make a purchase of a character, you have no idea how they play. And basically what happened was I said, oh yeah, I like the Punisher movie. I thought that was stupid, but also kind of cool. So I said, yeah, let me purchase the Punisher. He's got guns, right? So I played the Punisher for a few minutes. I was like, I don't like how he plays. I just wasted money. And that's exactly what happened. And that's one of the major problems that I have with the way that they do this, is that if you want to try a hero, there aren't classes that these heroes are like, you know, this hero is this class, so you have an idea of how it plays. It's just, here's the hero. You don't know how he plays. Spend money on it. You play it. What if you don't like it? What if you spend 20 bucks on Iron Man, and then you start playing him, and you're like, I hate the way he plays. I hate his abilities. Then you just essentially wasted $20. So it'd be great if they had a try option where you could try out these heroes, maybe like a virtual reality simulation or something where you could just play around in this small little sandbox area with all of the abilities of the character just to see sort of how they work. It's one thing if you've got a game where you know, you've got different purchasable things, but you have an idea of how a character plays before you have to spend any money on it. Well, it's not really the case here, unless you wait for the chance of an item drop, which, you know, I don't know how long it's going to take before you get the drop of a hero that you want, if ever. In fact, I would assume this would make sense that the more expensive heroes have a much less likely chance of dropping. So that's something that really does bother me a bit about this game. Another thing that's a little weird, this isn't so much bothersome, because this is a free-to-play game, it's the fact that these costumes cost a lot of money too. So let's take a look, for example, at the costumes for Iron Man. So if you want to play Iron Man, unless you somehow you're lucky enough to get one of the drops, which his chance to drop is probably a lot less likely because he is a more expensive hero. But if you do get the chance to drop and you want to change the way he looks, look at this. These costumes, 15 bucks, 750, 12 bucks, 11 bucks, 650, 14 bucks, 14 bucks. Like, these are some expensive. $15 for this costume. Obviously, it's one of the coolest looking ones here. And the funny thing is too, is that the more popular heroes have a lot more costumes available. Like, look, the Hulk only's got 5. Iron Man has, what is that, 8 or plus? There's a few here, 4 there. For Jean Grey, Miss Marvel, she's only got 3 costumes. So yeah, the least popular heroes have less costumes. You would sort of expect that. Not really that big of a deal. But one of my major problems with this game is being the fact that it's a hack and slash action RPG. These sort of games that are loot driven, you know, we've got loot that we pick up and it enhances our character. There is no visual change. Because of the way they've decided to monetize this game, which essentially is through the costume system, purchasing heroes and purchasing costumes is where they're going to get most of their money for this game. There's extra things you can purchase. You can purchase experience boost. These basically these elixirs in the store. You can purchase experience boost and essentially what works out to be magic find elixirs that increases your chance to get items. But it's safe to say that most of the money that they get for this game will be through costumes. So for that reason, they've made it so that acquiring new items does not change the visual look of your character. It couldn't, because if they did that, then what's the point of buying a costume, right? So there's such a focus on purchasing costumes that look cool, which subsequently become more expensive, and they've removed the notion of gear altering the way your character looks. Unless someone has a Storm costume purchased, every single Storm character will look just like mine does right here. No matter how high level they are, no matter how great the gear that they've acquired is, they're all going to look just like this unless they've purchased an outfit. Maybe there could be a chance for you to find outfits. I haven't heard anything about that, so I'm not sure if that's the case, but maybe you can find outfits as well. But either way, those outfits don't change your character's innate abilities. It's just a visual change, which that's fine. You know, that's actually ideal in a free-to-play game if you've got aesthetic changes that you can purchase that don't alter power, so it's not a pay-to-win system. But the thing is that, like for me, myself personally, and I know for a lot of people, these types of games, the biggest draw is the loot and being able to show, hey man, I've spent a ton of time in this game, look at my awesome gear, look at how cool it's made my character look. But no, if your character looks cool, it's because you bought a skin, and that's it, you know, and it's got nothing to do with your character level or power. I look the same as a max level Storm who hasn't purchased a skin. Plain and simple. So that's a big negative for me because it takes away the draw of leveling this high level character and being able to show it off to your friends and show them how cool you look. And day one, you can purchase the coolest looking outfit for your character and be like, hey, look, I spent 12 bucks. You know, so, and I'm not complaining at the notion that they're making money off of this thing. No, I fully, you know, it's a free-to-play game. They need a form of making money. It's just unfortunate that they chose the way that they did because I think it takes away one of the major reasons people play these types of games. Hack and slash action RPGs, in my opinion, lots of people play it for the loot and to try to look cool. And that's not really, it doesn't make a difference in this game. All picking up loot does is add stats to your character. There's no visual difference. And that's unfortunate. That's all I'm saying about that there. That's just unfortunate that they took that route. Because again, I think it takes away my desire to level up a character to try to get sweet gear. Because if it's not going to change the way I look, and I'm not going to look any cooler to my friends, and what's the point of doing it? And that might sound, oh, Forrest, that's stupid. Why would you, why would you care about that? That's how these games work. That's how MMOs work. That's how other hack and slash action RPGs work. It's all about being able to show off your accomplishments in game in a visual manner, and that's just not something that's present here. So yeah, it's unfortunate. And the other thing for me personally, this is completely personal though, I just don't like the setting that much. You know, I talk about Van Helsing, which was another recently released hack and slash action RPG, a Diablo style game. And there were things that I really loved about that game. Primarily, it was the setting, it was the world. Being a person who's just not all that interested in the Marvel Universe, the setting just really doesn't do anything for me. That's completely personal, though. So if you love the Marvel world, then you may have a great time with this game. You may think it's just absolutely fantastic, and that's great. It's free. You can hop in. My suggestion, if anything, is if you don't like one of the 5 starter heroes, the Daredevil, Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, or the Thing or Storm, if you don't like one of those, purchase one and try to find out ahead of time sort of how they play. If you can look up YouTube videos to see the different heroes playing, to see if it's the abilities and stuff and the play style is something that you would like. And then spend some money, buy one hero, but probably don't want to do too much more than that. Just in my opinion, though. And either way, I think for Marvel fans, this will be a cool experience because the combat is good enough. This will be a cool experience to at least play once and go through. And in terms of endgame stuff, I've heard some pretty strange things about the endgame. There's endgame like daily quests, if you will. And I believe some of them are locked behind a paywall where you have to purchase a key in order to access them, which is sort of strange. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So again, besides the heroes, besides purchasing heroes and costumes, under items, there's a few things. You basically get these little pets, you know, $10, $15, $12. These little guys that follow you around, a Herbie, an Iron Buddy, Old Lace, some dinosaur. And then here are the potions. There's a retcon device. You can get these in game as well, but they're not, you know, it's not something you can get on a regular basis, so you can purchase them. This is basically the ability to respec. Retcon device, kind of funny there. Then the experience boost and the rarity boost, magic find essentially, and then an XP bonus as well. These are some crafting stuff. You use molecules, you put them together to craft rare things, enchantments and stuff. Fortune card, these are kind of cool, sort of. It's going to cost you $1 and you get a random chance to get anything within that list there of possible rewards. Now over here, so this is it not showing up under the special? Oh, I'm sorry. What I wanted to show you was the cosmic key. So here it is. Expend this item to gain entry for your party to enter a restricted daily mission or challenge after completing Chapter 8. So this is an endgame thing where you can get into these daily missions, but you need to purchase this $1 key in order to get them. Again, that's something I'm not positive if that drops in game as well, but it's just sort of a weird system if you ask me. So overall, my first impressions on this game, I think the combat's fine. I'm just personally not a huge fan of the universe. I'm not a huge fan of the fact that it's not a true loot game in the sense that there's no visual representation of your accomplishments in the game. I personally think that's one of the driving factors and one of the major reasons people play these type of games. So to have it not be present here, I think it certainly detracts from the experience. But you know, again, if you're a Marvel fan and you just want to play this game for the story, find out what happens when you guys try to kill Dr. Doom, it's free to play. Give it a shot. Buy one hero if you feel like you don't like one of the starter heroes, and enjoy your very cheap Marvel experience. There you go. I meant cheap in cost, not in quality. Well, maybe a little bit in quality. All right, guys, that's going to do it here. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, this has been Force checking out Marvel Heroes, the free-to-play hack-and-slash action RPG set in the Marvel Universe, currently available. I'll give you guys a link in the video description below so you can go ahead and sign up and get playing right now if you like what you saw. Thank you for watching, keep watching, and keep owning.